Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Osoyoos regular open meeting of council, June the 28th, 2022, 2 p.m. in council chambers. We will first of all look at the approval of the agenda, and there are no late items. Mrs. Robinson? Okay, thank you. So we have Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Kane, all in favor? Thank you. And the adoption of some minutes, the special open minutes of June the 8th, 2022, and the regular open minutes from June the 14th, 2022. Could we have a motion? Councillor Bennett, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor? Thank you. And before we go on, I have two things. Corey, Chief Courtmeyer, would you like to introduce our newest employee?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Through you, Mayor, to the rest of council, I'd like to present Deputy Chief Rob Hadama. He is our new fire chief in charge of prevention. And Rob, if you could, a warm welcome to you. And please just do a bit of an introduction of yourself to Mayor and Council.
Welcome, Rob. Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm going to start started. That's all I got. Through your worship. So my name is Rob. Been a firefighter for 25 years. Volunteer for 12 and a half in Smithers, and on a career for the last 13 and a half. And now I'm on my last drive to finish off my career in Osoyoos. Really looking forward to participating with all of you through prevention programs we're going to build through the city. So my background with the career side was all in the prevention branch. So building preventions, going to schools, talking with the seniors and those sorts of things. So yeah, that's really what my background is. My passion is for firefighting, and I am very excited to be here and part of the Osoyoos team, and so is my wife and my daughter that is with us.
Well, thank you very much, and we're very happy to welcome you too. And if you can prevent fires around here, then you're in like Flynn, so we're good.
I don't know who Flynn is. I will definitely do my best.
Well, you are here on a very good occasion because we have Cherry Fiesta on Friday, and the fire department, led by the chief, will be participating in the parade. And I'm hoping that you're planning to join them.
I have heard. I am scared. I don't know what to expect, but I'll be there.
Oh, you know what? We have the best time. They make the parade, so we expect you guys there.
Perfect.
So thank you very much, and welcome to Osoyoos.
Right on. Thank you very much.
Did they happen to mention how you have to be dressed up on Canada Day?
No, don't tell them that.
Okay.
Just like
That was the scared portion of the stuff, yeah. So,
Welcome.
yes, thank you very much.
Okay, and I have one more thing that I'd like to do first. That we have a very famous worker in the town of Osoyoos who has just graduated from Capilano University with her local government administration degree. And Mrs. Robinson, we'd like to present this to you. And congratulations, you did that in jig time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to water matters as the next thing. And so the water district information, water district 8-9 financial accounts. So we have water district requirements to June 28th in the amount of $70,432.52. Thank you. Councillor Morera is moving that. Rhodes is seconding that. All in favor. Thank you, everyone. And next is correspondence. And you will see that the Okanagan Basin Water Board meeting highlights are there. And I believe I mentioned most of these things the last time, including all of you to sign up for Make Water Work. Now, I have the list of all of the people in town who have signed up, and some of you have not. And I would like to point it out that you need to get on there, PDQ, please. And I told you about the milfoil that will be hopefully being addressed in Vassal Lake, provided we get provincial approval. And also that the hydrometric stations, which are really important in gathering data through the whole Okanagan, have been upped, and we're increasing that from 15 to 19. So there are more stations planned. So I don't think, unless anybody has any questions, I think we will just, because I mentioned it at the last meeting. So could we, what I'd like to do is have a motion, please, that we receive the Okanagan Basin Water Board meeting highlights for information. Councillor Bennett, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor. Thank you very much. And the next is our annual report. And it is printed in here, and because this is a public meeting, I will state the mayor's message, and then our directors can give a quick update on what they have in here. You don't have to read the whole report. If you've got something that you'd like to highlight and talk about, then we will do that. And then if I don't see anybody from the public that would like to ask questions, but if somebody does, then they certainly have that ability. So the mayor's message: on behalf of Osoyoos Town Council and staff, I'm pleased to present the 2021 annual report. This report provides the community with an update on projects identified in our 4-year business plan. 2021 saw a continuation of the provincial state of emergency, which has been in effect since March the 18th, 2020, making it difficult to engage the public in the usual manner. In June 7th, 2021, Town Hall reopened to the regular 9 to 4 p.m. hours, and in August, the public was allowed to attend council meetings in person. Council has been proactive in meeting with several provincial and federal ministers using video conferencing. Council continues to serve on the Destination Osoyoos Board, the Okanagan Regional Library Board, Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen, the Okanagan Basin Water Board, International Lake Osoyoos Board of Control, Municipal Insurance Association, Economic Trust of the Southern Interior, and attend all board and education meetings at School District 53. Our mission statement: to provide quality community services and facilities which meet the needs of the current and future residents of Osoyoos in a socially, economically, and environmentally sustainable manner. As mayor of the town of Osoyoos, it is my great privilege to be associated with the council and staff who are working so diligently to provide the best quality services to our residents in a fiscally responsible manner. I would like to acknowledge and thank the many volunteers who have found innovative ways to provide some popular annual events in our community. While many special events had to be canceled or postponed, volunteers always found ways to celebrate safely on a much smaller scale. Thank you as well to the businesses who made thoughtful adjustments to their premises in order to serve their customers safely. This allowed all of us to shop locally and support our community. Council strives to ensure that we provide a safe environment, efficiently manage services, and an attractive town for both our citizens and visitors. Osoyoos shall continue to be a transparent, inclusive, and progressive community offering Canada's warmest welcome. So I'm going to go through the annual report. I'm assuming I can do it in the order that it's printed. So corporate services, please.
Thank you, Mayor Cordell. The Corporate Services Department encompasses legislative responsibilities for the corporate officer under the Community Charter, main reception duties, land issues, human resources, victim services, transit insurance, contract administration, leases, occupational health and safety, bylaw enforcement, and records management. There were 25 bylaws adopted in 2021. 5 policies were adopted by council. As you previously mentioned, on August 24th, 2021, the public was able to attend in-person council meeting. Meetings continue to be live streamed and published on the town's YouTube channel through Zoom, and the regular open meetings are live streamed on the Eastlands Community Channel. The Town of Osoyoos Council Procedure Bylaw number 1367/2020 was adopted November 2020, and it came into effect as of January 1st, 2021. That bylaw moved council meetings from the first and third Monday of every month to the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. In total, there were 14 Freedom of Information requests received in 2021. All of the FOI requests were completed by the Corporate Services Department. There were 35 job postings posted in 2021. The following staff were recognized in 2021 for their service and commitment to the residents of the community. Jim Zackel, the Director of Financial Services, 20 years of service. Neil Paget, Senior Building Inspector, 15 years of service. Dave Steen, a water wastewater operator, 15 years of service. Sarah Dennison, Community Program Supervisor, 15 years of service. Merlin Wimmer, Maintenance Worker, 15 years of service. John Laura, Utility Person, 10 years of service. And Amy Robinson, Deputy Corporate Officer with 5 years of service. Congratulations to Phyllis Polikoshko, who gave her notice to retire in December of 2021. And as well for our department, Amy Robinson started as the Deputy Corporate Officer in October of 2021, and Grace Albert started as the full-time bylaw officer in December of 2021. There were 6 new liability claims received by the town in 2021, and they were forwarded to MIABC, who handles all claims for the town. And council also accepted MIA's bid for property, business interruption, and crime and accidental death for the period of December 31st, 2021 to December 31st, 2024. There were 8 properties that were taken in for municipal boundary expansion in 2021. And we had numerous leases and agreements that were adopted by council and approved, and 2 license to use agreements with Wine Country Racing, PenMac, and Osoyoos Model Aviation.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Hilton. Financial services.
Thank you.
Mr. Zackel.
So the finance department's responsibilities and authority comes from the legislation mandated by the community charters, provincial and federal statutes, and municipal bylaws. The town received a number of grants in 2021, which included the RMI $424,000, Community Works Fund $550,000, Small Community Grant $500,000, federal grants in lieu of $15,900, Canada Summer Jobs of $25,500, provincial street lights of $2,200, Okanagan Basin Water Board Sewer of $16,400, and the Rural Twinning Grant of $1,527,000. All statutory requirements were met in 2021, and a copy of the 2021 audited financial statements is included in the package. And at this point in time, I'd like to formally thank all of staff for their hard work in 2021. Council with the continued support and working relationship staff has. Thank you. It was a good year, and hopefully 2022 is going to be the same.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zackel. Chief Courtmeyer.
Through you, Mayor, to rest of council. Well, the last year was an interesting year. I came in mid-season, and it seemed like a rolling ball, which quickly caught on fire. It was one of our largest call volumes that we had for the history of the fire department, around 274. Most of those were either motor vehicle incidents, fire alarm activations, either with intent, good intent being something that's actually burning in the house, your toast, or false alarms, which lead a lot of our call outs. And then agency assists, usually with BC ambulance or RCMP in assisting wellness checks or code 3 lift assist. The spring left quickly and summer came on kind of in a hot and heavy wave. We had an unprecedented heat wave, which drove our throat codes really far down. And we were really unaffected by a lot of other communities, like a lot of other communities until the very end, where the Inkpeak fire started just in Oliver and then made its way to us and ended up being one of the largest fires that burned in our area. Here over 15,000 hectares that consumed. There was a lot to talk about. It was a long, busy days for a lot of our folks. A constant reminder that I would like for the last year is that almost all of those emergency incidents were handled by our paid on call volunteers, where when they're leaving their places of work, sometimes that cost is borne by themselves because some employers don't pay for that type of thing when you leave. So to have that many callouts and some of those callouts extending for days, it's nice to be able to know that we have passionate people that are concerned for the safety and wellness of our community. It's something that I don't think myself or the other firefighters will forget. It was also a very comforting feeling to know that the community rallied behind us, and that included everybody sitting around this table and all the way down to the staff level. It was really nice to be able to get through an emergency incident like that with knowing that you have the full support of your community. We continued through COVID to train and push people to their Channel 1 standard, which means everybody gets a gold star. And even through COVID and all of the challenges that we had, we certified another number of firefighters. So to the Channel 1 standard, really, we only have about 6 people that are left that are without that gold star, which is really good news for us, which means that every firefighter that goes out in the middle of the night actually has training and certification behind them to be qualified to do so. Yeah, are there any questions from Mayor and Council?
Thank you, Chief. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You ordered a couple of vehicles last year. Is there a time frame or if they arrived yet?
The brush 191, the brush truck, it will be here before the end of July, as I've been told. Everybody is blaming the supply chain at this stage in our lives. I think that kick open some of the sea cans and we'll start to live into parts and pieces. The skid unit that we've been waiting for was shipped on Friday of last week. So however long it takes to get to Florida to the lower mainland and then installed, be about a couple of weeks. And as far as I know, the water tender that's on that we had ordered is in production and in the contract. Contractually, they will meet their timelines.
That's great to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Planning and development.
Thank you, Mayor Laura. Thank you very much. So as you know, Planning and Development Services Department is, of course, responsible for land use planning, growth management, maintenance, of course, of the town's official community plan and other bylaws for land and water zoning, land use procedures, subdivisions, building construction, etc. We also process applications for amendments to those bylaws, along with building design, repair and development permits, building construction sign permits, etc. Building permit processing is also stick handled. Annual fire safety inspections and follow-ups were turned over to the Osoyoos Fire Department. I know that our senior building inspector Neil Padgett tagged along with them for a while and during that transition. With respect to planning projects, of course, Southeast Mainland Planning area, it continues to be developed. The OCP plan review was well underway at the end of 2022, or the end of 2021 was subsequently adopted. Of course, the Osoyoos Airport Development Improvement Project and Agreement. I worked with the CEO and Jared Brownstein on that project to get that agreement signed. Continue, of course, as a team rep on the RDOS Growth Management Strategy team. We processed a number of subdivision applications and rezoning proposals, not to go into too much into that, but a couple of high points, of course, are the 40-unit condominium building on 89th, which was approved for the rental units. Pardon me, I don't know if that was a good one or not, but the team processed 101 building permits, the total construction value of over $30 million. 5 sign permits were issued and 3 soil deposit removal permits, just to make a quick note, because some people don't know the work that goes into those. But they require such things as geotechnical assessments, dust control plans, traffic plans, blasting plans, and a number of other technical backup material before we can issue those. So they're quite complicated. 399 renewed municipal business licenses and 55 new business licenses for new businesses were issued in the town. Of course, I continue as the Director of Planning and Development. Neil Paget is the Senior Building Inspector, and Amy Robinson was with us as part of our team until the fall of 2021. We thank her for her service in our department, and following which Claudia Lenz came on as a clerical assistant, and Leah Curtis joined our team in November of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. McKay. Operational services.
Thank you, Your Worship. The list goes on and on and on. So basically, the operational services department is responsible for the operation and maintenance of the domestic water system, the wastewater collection and treatment system, including storm, road networks, multi-use pathways, green spaces, including parks, municipal facilities, Osoyoos and area sanitary landfill, community airport, and the town's fleet, including the fire department, as well as the agriculture irrigation system north and south of town. Large amount of capital work in the past year. Some of the highlights were some additional units to our fleet, some upgrades to some of our parks, including Legion Beach, which is currently under construction. Some additional employees for our parks department, so 2 half-time employees to assist with some of our operating needs. The hiring of a new utility superintendent to assist with our water and wastewater systems. Bringing domestic water onto the agricultural systems south of town. Installation of a water main under the Narrows at Osoyoos Lake. Ongoing upgrades to our SCADA system. We've applied for provincial grant funding to do a water treatment plant. Looking at that little thing called water meters. Development of a water master plan and asset management plan. Development of a wastewater master plan and asset management plan, and we continue to plug along on each one of those avenues.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Dennison, reporting on community services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Community Services Department develops programs, coordinates special events, participates in council appointed committees, and manages facilities for the town of Osoyoos. This past year has been busy, and we were rewarded with many improvements, including new programs and community events. 2021 was a year of ups and downs as we worked through the pandemic and the extraordinary adjustments that the community and the department had to endure. The Symbol Arena hosted a number of tournaments, figure skating camps, hockey camps, and the community's junior B team. Thank you to Osoyoos Rotary for sponsoring public skating once again, which was a huge draw for a lot of community members this past year. We're very proud of our facilities, work diligently to ensure we provide exemplary service to our patrons. The Community Services Master Plan will soon need to be updated as it was completed in 2014, and many of the aspects have already been addressed. The department organized a number of committees throughout 2021, including the Age Friendly and Accessible Committee, the South Okanagan Aquatic Feasibility Committee, and the Community Services Advisory Committee. We held mass immunization clinics through Interior Health starting in April, and they operated numerous days throughout the week. Renovations were completed on the men and ladies washrooms on the main floor at the Sonora Community Center. We received our final portion of the Community Energy Leadership Program grant, $24,000, which was part of the direct digital controls at the Sonora Community Center. And we offered our annual membership sale once again the week of September 13th and sold over 3,000 memberships during the year. Pickleball is still one of our most popular activities, and they are expanding almost out of control. They need more room. We received a grant for $1,000 from BCRPA to put on family day activities. We handed out 36 activity kits for families, and we held 2 family day public skating sessions. New programs included bringing in gymnastics, outdoor fitness classes,
And we also had a new event, the Jingle Bell Run. We brought in the Osoyoos Art Hub, which is held at the Cactus Center for people to explore, investigate different forms of art at no cost. And we had Trixie the Elf was back on December 4th as a community event to get people into the parks.
Thank you very much. Go ahead. Did your question? No, go ahead.
I just want to mention that last Friday we had a volunteer luncheon that the town hosted, and I just really want to say thank you very much to Sarah and Ellie, because there's over 100 people there, and because of our shortened staff everywhere, those two young ladies worked their butts off, putting hundreds of tables and chairs and dishes and plates. So I was acting there that day, and I unofficially review staff workers every year. So thank you.
Those are nice.
Very
Thank you.
unbelievable.
Thank you. Well, you know, listening to all of the things that were done in 2021 is pretty amazing. You sort of think that things take a long time and that it takes too long to get things completed. And when we listen to the list of all of the things that have been done, it's pretty amazing. So thank you all, especially our directors, for making sure that your departments work really well. So I personally appreciate that, and I think council does too. Any councilors like to say anything about this? No, CJ usually gives a long speech, but he wasn't prepared today. But you can if you want. You're okay. So I'm just going to point out at the very end of the report, there is a resident feedback form. And if anybody is interested in commenting on the annual report or asking questions, please look at that and please send in fill it in and send it into it. We'd be interested in hearing what you had to say. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. So what we need to do is have a motion to receive the 2021 annual report for information. Councillor King, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor. Thank you. Okay, next is the grant application for the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund. Mr. Brownstein.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is a grant application in conjunction with the RDUS. They actually came to us looking for support to apply for this grant to address heat preparedness within the community. The Community Emergency Preparedness Fund is a suite of funding streams intended to enhance the resiliency of local governments, First Nations, and communities in responding to emergencies. Funding is provided by the province of BC and is administered by UBCM. All local governments, municipalities, and regional districts, and all First Nations, bands, communities, First Nations, and BC are eligible to apply. The RDUS, Village of Karamias, Town of Princeton, Town of Osoyoos, Town of Oliver, District of Sutherland, as well as the Upper and Lower Snoqualmie Indian Bands, the Osoyoos Indian Band, and the Penticton Indian Band will support this application UBCM for the Emergency Preparedness Fund in support of extreme heat risk mapping, assessment, and emergency planning. Basically, we're just looking for council support to continue with this grant application. The grant application has been submitted, and this resolution will need support of that submission. So staff is recommending that council support the RDUS application to the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund, and the following resolution be provided to the RDUS for their grant application being submitted to UBCM. The council supports the submission of the grant application to the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund under the Extreme Heat Risk Mapping Assessment and 2022 program stream to the RDUS, and that the RDUS receive and manage the grant funding on behalf of the town of Osoyoos.
Thank you very much. I just have one question about the form that's filled in, the grant joint request. And there's some things, money that's requested, and some that is in kind. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Thank you, Your Worship. So that would be time in which the community would provide. So my time, potentially the Director of Planning and Development's time, potentially the Director of Community Services time, and that would be presented as in kind from the town for this grant application.
Sure, thank you. Anybody else have any concerns? Okay, is there someone who would like to make the motion, please? that council supports the submission of the grant application to the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund under the Extreme Heat Risk Mapping, Assessment and Planning 2022 program stream through the RDOS, and that the RDOS receive and manage the grant funding on the behalf of the town of Osoyoos. Thank you, Councillor Bennett, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, next is general net. Back here, general net payroll and Sunbowl Arena financial accounts. And so this would be to report on expenditures from accounts payable and payroll information accounts will receive for information purposes. So general cash requirements up to June 28, 2022 are in $331,809.48. Sunbowl cash requirements of $6,919.35 and net payroll accounts of $110,654.87. Could I have a motion, please, to receive those for information? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you very much. And next is bylaws 4008 Oleander. And that would be Ms. Curtis.
Thank you, Mayor Cora. Staff are recommending that zoning zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.142 be adopted. Council granted through reading to the above noted bylaw on May 24th, 2022, following the public hearing. If approved, the bylaw would rezone the property from an R1 single family residential to an R2 single family residential small lot to accommodate the subdivision of the property into two small lots, one of which would contain the existing home. The public hearing, no members attended. A letter of correspondence was received by the town with concerns related to the property use and privacy if a new house was built or is built, excuse me. And you can see that in the attachment 1, which is the meeting minutes from May 24th. The applicant was in attendance and responded to these concerns during a brief presentation for the proposal. Our rationale for the recommendation is that staff is of the opinion that the site is suitable for a smaller lot size. Furthermore, the use and the size of the new lot is supported through policies in the town's OCP. That the proposed development is in keeping with the spirit of the OCP, and the new subdivision would contribute to the housing stock to manage the town.
So the options.
The option.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah,
Sure you're
option 1 is that the zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.142 be adopted, or option 2 is that council defeat the bylaw. And we're recommending option 1.
Thank you very much. Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move option 1, the zoning amendment bylaw 1085.142.2022 be adopted.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councillor Rhodes. Is there? Councillor Harvey, did you have a question?
Oh, you want a second?
No, you want to second it. Sorry, I didn't catch you for Councillor Rhodes first. And I do see that you've consulted with the Ministry of Transportation, and that you will be consulting with the Osoyoos Fire Department and Operational Services Department as well.
Yes.
As part of the subdivision process. Good, thank you. So anybody else? Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All in favor? Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Curtis. Next is the Ms. McKay, 7808 Spartan Drive.
Thank you, Mayor Laporta. So the recommendation before council today is in 3 parts. A, that the official community plan amendment bylaw number 135.01/2022 be adopted. B, that a zoning amendment bylaw number 1085.141/2022 be adopted, and that council authorize issuance of development permit 22-07. So council recall that you granted the review to these amending bylaws on June 14th, following which the applicant provided additional information to complete the required submission for the development permit, and those particular documents are found in the attached development permit. It's attachment 4 to this report. Now, if approved, the project would consist of a mix of 5 townhomes and a 17-unit apartment style condominium building. Of course, we all know the applicant is proposing to rent a minimum of 12 units for a minimum of 20 years, with 4 of those 12 units being rented at below market rental rates for a minimum of 5 years. And again, all rentals will be secured by way of a restricted covenant registered on title. So the development proposal has been discussed with staff at operational services and with the town's engineer. There is municipal water service, sewer service available at the site, and is scaled to meet the development. Additional discussions will take place with the fire chief, the director of operational services, and the town's contracted building inspector prior to issuance of any building permits and any site excavation. Note also that the developer has provided an attached letter from Northwest Sprinkler Company confirming fire suppression design and engineering for the project, and that's attached to this report. Staff are in support of the proposal to amend the OCP and rezone the property located at 7808 Spartan Drive to accommodate a small apartment building and five new townhomes, with the proposal to maintain 75% of the apartment units as rentals for a minimum of 20 years. And of course, this will aid in addressing some of the housing shortage in the community. The options, of course, are option 1 in 3 parts, that the bylaws be adopted and that council authorize issuance of development 22-07. Option 2 is council defeats the bylaw, and we're recommending option 1 in 3 parts. Implication for this particular proposal for the community. Of course, the community can benefit from the addition of rental housing stock. Organizationally, preliminary development proposal package was forwarded to outside agencies for comment. Those were received at the public hearing. No additional concerns were identified, and Ministry of Transportation has provided approval and signed the bylaw. With respect to the budget, the proposed zoning amendment has notification for the town's budget. Significant date should the proposed development be approved by council, and the development permit also issued for the site. The applicant will have 2 years to substantially commence the work. Sustainability, the property is located within a municipally serviced area which has been identified for future development, and is also located within walking distance of community amenities. Thank you, Mayor McCord.
Thank you very much. Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I got a question here. This is 5 townhomes and 17 apartments, so is that a total of 22? Is that correct?
Correct.
So when then I read it, it says 12 of them will be rented. What happens to the other 5 apartments?
They would be sold. Thank you.
Okay.
May I just say though, Mayor McCord, again, through the chair, the developers actually considering just renting all of them.
Okay.
Just to make it a little easier.
All right. So, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll move the staff recommended option 1A.
The official community plan amendment bylaw be adopted. Seconder, Councillor King, all in favor? Thank you. Does someone like to move option B? Councillor Harvey, that the zoning amendment bylaw be adopted. Is there a seconder? Councillor King, all in favor? And the third one is that council authorize issuance of a development permit number 2022-07. Councillor Rhodes. Councillor Bennett. All in favor. Thank you. Thank you very much. We will go on to the travel and expense repeal bylaw, which sounds funny, doesn't it? I had to ask Mrs. Hilton about that one. Go ahead, Mrs. Hilton.
Thank you, Mayor McCord. The travel and expense bylaw number 1265/2010 was adopted by council on March 15th of 2010 and is outdated. Staff have reviewed other travel expense bylaws and policies throughout the region and is recommending that the current bylaw be repealed and replaced with the travel expense policy that would be reviewed twice a year by staff. Members of staff, council, and other appointed officials are required to travel for town business to attend meetings, conferences, and training. As previously stated, the last time the town's travel and expense policy was reviewed was in 2010, which is over 12 years ago. It is important that there are clear guidelines and fair compensation for those who are required to travel and attend meetings, conferences, or training during their tenure with the town. Staff have surveyed other municipalities within our region to compare the town's travel and expense bylaw with their current bylaws and or policies. The chart on the next page is a breakdown of the current policies and bylaws from our region. To note, the RDOS is currently reviewing their travel and expense policy and bylaw, and their manager of finance will be presenting it to the RDOS board. The city of Penticton has separated their expenses into 4 different zones, representing the province, and the highest amount, which is listed in the table, is from Vancouver and the Lower Mainland. And the amounts listed for Princeton in the above chart are for courses and conferences and or meetings that are longer than 1 day. If travel requires over 24 hours of absence from a place of residence, the per diem allowance is $70 per day. Staff are suggesting that the rates highlighted in blue would be the new rates for the town of Osoyoos. These rates would include all taxes and gratuities. So options before council is that the travel and expense repeal bylaw number 1379/2022 be read for first, second, and third time. That council refer the policy back to staff for changes, or 3, that council abandons travel and expense repeal bylaw number 1379/2022. And staff are recommending option 4.
Thank you very much. I just found it kind of interesting. I was telling Ms. Tilson that the mileage is 0.61 cents per mile. And per kilometer actually. And I thought that's an odd number, but apparently that's what CRA has. And I was just at another meeting with ETSI-BC, and that was the mileage on there too. So it seems to be appropriate, and it looks to me like the rest of the municipalities mentioned have already adopted that. Okay, so Councillor King.
Question, is a non-commercial accommodation like, is that living in a tent or a bush? Or?
If you would have a family member or something, can you stay with the family?
Thank you very much.
But
We wanted to see the tent.
Well, I have another question too. The commercial accommodation flights, it seems everybody's getting compensated for their flights and we don't. So I'm just curious why.
You should.
Or we're good in-
You would,
I'm sorry.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. You should.
Okay, so could we have a motion, Councillor Rhodes? Are you moving option 1?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And is there a seconder for that? Councillor Bennett. All in favor? Thank you very much, everybody. Okay, next we will go to our CAO report, Mr. Zackel.
I did not bring the report down with me.
You want to wing it or
At
what?
this point in time, it will be no report, other than to say that all of staff has been extremely busy. With projects and things of that nature. Tax season is well upon us. We've got probably 40% still to collect within 3 business days. So it's going to be a very, very busy office over the next few days. So hopefully everybody will have patience on our staff. They're working hard. Once again, we've got a number of new staff that have come in. In the reorganization over the last month. And they're hitting the ground running to help us as well. So that would be my report.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to say that that my office is right there and I can hear what people are doing. And I just think that town staff are doing an amazing job of dealing with the people who come in and often have many questions and sometimes are very frustrated and unfortunately take it out on our staff. And they've developed thick skins, I think, because they handle it extremely well. So, and I have gone out a couple times and said to them, you know, well done, you handled that because I can hear it, so I know what they're doing. So thank you very much. Good. Did you have a question, Mr. Council?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Jim, when we send out the request for the tax notices, I'm getting a question from people saying, I haven't got my tax notice yet. And I think you answered this last year, and I can't remember what answer you gave us.
They needed to get a hold of us as soon as possible, so we could make sure that they get it.
Yeah, they came down and done that. But
Okay,
it
good.
it seemed like they were getting like last week and then did this week. Is that a gaming thing?
They should have received it in an ample amount of time for it to be processed. They did go out 1 week later than they normally go out. But it just, the timeframe between for July 4th has always been a tough one, but they should have received them.
So it's called mass mail.
Yes, they do.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I mean, they're all addressed. They're all addressed mail, but when we take the tax notices to the post office, we take them in, there's probably 8 huge boxes full, and they get their sorting machines and off they go. So
Yeah. Okay.
our locals, we've got them sorted where they're the local mailing and the non-local mailing as well. So the local ones shouldn't have gone anywhere but stayed here directly.
Okay, thank you.
But I am concerned when you say that they haven't received it, so.
Well, they're just getting them this week.
That's
Doesn't sound right.
unless
I'm sorry.
there was something wrong with the mailing address.
That has happened because I see that every day in the mail, when they bring it back, there are mails returned because it's the wrong address on it. And it could be if they've changed. I just know that Tammy goes through and checks and tries to contact them right away.
I think it's maybe post office, because I get 3 in my box and they're coming different times.
Okay.
So,
But Mayor McCord is correct. There is a number of items that we get returned back to us, and that time frame takes time. And then once Tammy gets a new address for them to get it out, then some of those would be receiving it for the first time. So we try to work with everybody as much as we can with the limited amount of time we have.
well, most people come down, they say, oh, it's good, I'm down all, so it's not a problem. It's
Perfect.
just-
Or phone me or email me and we'll get it out right away.
Thank you.
Because one person came in the other day and I heard Tammy talking to them and they said, well, when is it due? July the 4th. And they said, well, if I'll come in on July the 5th and pay it. And she said, well, at that point, you will have to pay a fee for not having it paid in on time. Oh, okay. Well, like, you know what, people need to know that because is it 5%?
10%.
10% that you pay right away if you haven't got it paid. So make sure the next 3 days that these people come in and pay it.
As an example, I just processed 62 deferment applications. And of the 62 deferment applications, there was probably 20 that had not claimed their homeowner grant yet. And then there was about 35 of those that hadn't paid their user fees yet. So I was on the phone or on email or trying to get a hold of these property owners to try to ensure that all of their requirements are met before they actually qualify for that program. So
Otherwise, they're charged as well. For
they're
late
charged
fees, yes.
with and so we're trying to do our due diligence.
Mhm.
But it's also challenging because there isn't a lot of time and there isn't a lot of manpower or people to get it done.
Okay, so could we please have a motion to accept the CAO report? Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. Now we'll go on to council reports. Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Last Wednesday, attended the RMI stakeholders meeting along with the mayor and Councillor Bennett. It was attended with some business and public in attendance where they were great new ideas where the money could be spent next year. So you will hear some new ideas coming forward here shortly in the summer. And also attended along with the mayor, Councillor Bennett and Councillor Rhodes, the volunteer luncheon, which again, we can't say enough for all the work the volunteers do in this town. The big shout out goes to all the volunteers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Couple of June 15th and 20th, I attended international cradles meetings, one with the executive director of TRED, which is Young Wenatchee, and they have a big organization and all their written report because it's pretty long. June 21st was school district 53, which is the last school we meet for this school year. Summer program, they're gonna have 14 groups. They're gonna go to school half a day Monday, half a day each day for the month of July to catch up on their reading and arithmetic. Very successful women in trades 2-day boot camp. All 3 secondary schools. This is a grade 10 girls go in and they try out welding and carpentry and different skill sets, and they had some pictures of them with grease on the face where they're welding and dirt, and they were seemed to really enjoying themselves. I think the biggest one is that that $20,000 grant was approved to for a complete child early childhood education. And basically what that does is girls or kids in grade 10 can go in this program. By the time they graduate, they can have their certificate ready for early childhood education, which is really good. So you go right into the system, which we need those people. June 1st or June, anyway, it was 22nd. Chamber of Commerce generally attended the This is After Business. As Jim mentioned, June 22nd was RMI, and June 24th, the Volunteer Appreciation. That's my report.
Great, thank you very much. Councillor Harvey.
Unmuting. Thank you. So yeah, the only thing I have to update is I attended Finance Committee with the Library Board last week. Preliminary for next year's budget. There's going to be an increase, but again, like last year, with the increase in assessments and increase in population, the per capita levy might not change that much. So we'll see. It's still a work in progress. Anyway, I'll update once the Finance Committee recommends the budget up to the board itself.
Great, thank you. And have you hired a new CAO for the library board yet, or is that still in process?
That's still in process, yeah. And Don's still attending all meetings.
Okay,
He moves on, yeah.
thank you very much. Councillor Rhodes.
I have no report.
Okay, but you were at the volunteer luncheon the other day, I know that.
Yes.
I was, I'll just give my report. I was not at the volunteer luncheon the other day, which I heard was very well done. And I love the fact that that Councillor Bennett, who was the acting mayor, got Councillor King to lead everybody in the singing of Old Canada. Is that what? Well done. So thank you for doing that. I was for 2 days up at ETSI meeting in Revelstoke. That's the Economic Trust of the Southern Interior. And I'm on the board of directors for that. And the next meeting that we try to have them 4 times a year, is going to be in Osoyoos. So that will be perfect. So I will certainly let you know when that happens, and there may be some things on the agenda that some of you might like to attend, and so you're welcome to do that. I have been at the regional district meetings, and the regional emergency management program is it's tricky, and it's run by the RDOS, but it goes all the way out to the whole regional district. And there were some concerns brought up at the last meeting, and so we're having a special meeting on Thursday, the RDOS, and that's the only thing that's on the agenda. It was mostly people from, you don't have to worry about it, it's just RDOS people. But it was, although some people might have been invited. No, okay, don't worry. I'll be there, but I'm going to, because there's July 1st, the next day, I'm going to do it on Zoom rather than go up to Penticton for this meeting. But I will report back on that. They just felt that there needed to have some questions answered about emergency preparedness, particularly in some of the outlying regional districts. And so we're all going to be part of that. I was at Lake International Osoyoos Lake Board of Control meeting. And that was last week when the lake level had gone over 913 feet above sea level, measured at the Zogel Dam. And everybody was in a bit of a sweat because it had taken quite a steep rise over a week. It's now done the exact opposite and come back down quite a bit. And because of the hot weather and there's still snow up in the higher elevations, we may see a little bit of back and forth for a while, but I don't think we're going to get anywhere near flooding levels that we anticipated. That might happen. So that's a good thing. There was something put out, a statement put out by the IJC on this, and I think it was likely sent to the towns and everybody. I was also at RMI stakeholders meeting with Councillor Bennett, Councillor King. And we'll be hearing more about that, looking at what are the key issues. And I've been on an Oliver Osoyoos healthcare meeting with divisions of family practice, with some of the doctors, and with Mayor of Oliver and me, and we're trying to see how we can come up with well, it's really quite confusing about healthcare, because every single place is slightly different and has different issues. So we're having things talked about with the doctors and what their concerns are, and Minister Dix is apparently planning to come up here in the summertime and meet with this group and with the Mayor of Oliver and me, and we're hoping that that works, because we'd like to do a little bit of flexible funding, flexible scheduling to make it work for our area, and every single area around the province is slightly different. So we do have another meeting, and that is not till July the 21st. I just want to remind everybody, not that you probably need it, but Cherry Fiesta is on July the 1st this week. I'm absolutely amazed. We've got, not only town staff thoroughly involved in this, but the fire department, the police, public works, the ambulance, bylaw officers, plus coordinated by the Osoyoos Festival Society. We're hoping that it's going to be a nice day, not too hot, that it is fun for everybody, because we're back to having a parade again, and that there's entertainment at the band shell, and the fireworks people are so keen on getting this fabulous show organized. They've met their goal in terms of fundraising, so it'll be a pretty good show. If you can see it from your house or from a beach close to your house, I would recommend that you see it from there. I think Gyro Park's going to be pretty busy, and so, but we want people to have a fun weekend, to enjoy their visitors, their family, whoever is coming here. Please be careful, please be safe, please be kind, please be thoughtful of other people, and come out and enjoy it, because it'll be a great event, which we haven't had for a couple of years. And lastly, I just wanted to point out that our next council meeting will not be until July the 19th. So normally have one on the second Tuesday of the month. In the month of July, we're only having one meeting, and it will be the third Tuesday. So July the 19th is the next one. And that's all that I had. And so I will require a motion, please, to go in camera, that pursuant to section 91C of the community charter, the council meeting be closed to the public as the subject matter relates to labor relations or other employee relations. So I have a motion, please. Councillor Rhodes.